In a world that is just completely drowning in noise, there's really only one question that matters for any business. How do you get noticed? How do you get respected and chosen over everyone else? Well, this playbook has an answer, and it starts by challenging something we're all taught, that playing it safe is the smart move. As we're about to see, it might just be the biggest risk you can possibly take. So, let's start with a feeling. I bet you know this one. Does it ever feel like you are doing absolutely incredible, world-class work, but you're doing it in total obscurity? If you've ever felt like your company is the best-kept secret in your industry while you watch your competitors, who you know aren't as good, hog the spotlight, then you're in the right place. And this right here, this is why it happens. In almost any industry, this is the breakdown. You've got 95% of companies that are basically interchangeable. They're the Me Too crowd. They're competent, sure, but they're vanilla. They all look the same, they sound the same, and they end up competing on price. But that top 5%, the market leaders, oh, they get the lion's share with everything, the attention, the profits, the best talent. And it's not because they're just a little bit better. It's because they are fundamentally different.
And that difference, it has a name: market eminence. Now, this isn't just about being famous or getting a lot of clicks. No. It's about achieving this state of recognized superiority, where you become the only logical, the only safe, and the only smart choice for the people you want to serve. The goal here is to make choosing anyone else feel like a huge, foolish risk. That is real power. That's market eminence.
But, okay, getting to that point, it almost always hits a wall. And the first, and honestly the biggest objection you hear is always the same. That sounds way too risky. It's that fear of rocking the boat, right? The fear of turning some people off. But let's really dig into that idea, because here's the paradox, and it's a big one. Trying to appeal to everyone is the fastest way to truly, deeply connect with absolutely no one. Think about it. If you're scared of saying something that might make a few people go, not for me, then you will never inspire someone else to shout, oh my gosh, this is the company I have been looking for. You just can't build passion on lukewarm, middle-of-the-road ideas. It doesn't work.
The source material for this uses a perfect analogy from Jerry Garcia of the Grateful Dead. He used to say his band was like licorice. A lot of people hate it, but the people who love it really love it. And that is the exact choice every single business faces. You can be vanilla. You're for everyone, which means you're totally forgettable. It leads to slow growth, you fight over price. Or you can be licorice. You're not for everyone, and that's your superpower. It creates passionate fans, lets you charge premium fees, and puts you in a category all by yourself. The real risk isn't being licorice. The real risk is being vanilla.
Okay, on to the second major objection. It sounds something like this. Look, we're doing the content thing. We're blogging, we're on social media, but it's just not moving the needle. It feels like you're just shouting into the void. Well, let's talk about why. Here is the hard truth, plain and simple. The old content playbook is dead. The era of generic how-to content, 5 tips for this, how to do that, it's over. And why? In one word, AI. Artificial intelligence can now pump out that kind of basic instructional content instantly and for free. So if your entire content strategy can be replicated by a machine in 10 seconds, you are in a very, very dangerous spot. So to be valuable, to be AI-proof, your focus has to shift dramatically. You have to stop telling people how to do things, and you need to start teaching them how to think about their problems in a new way. You have to shape what they believe is even possible, and you need to show them where to focus their attention to get ready for what's coming next. This is all about providing perspective, not just instructions. That is something a machine can never replicate. Okay, so if the goal is to stop being vanilla and find your licorice flavor, how in the world do you actually do that? Now that we've pushed past the objections, let's get into the actual playbook for finding your unique point of view. It all starts with this question right here. Every single industry has its sacred cows, right? The so-called best practices that everyone just follows without even thinking. What's the one that you secretly, deep down, think is total garbage? That little bit of heresy, that's where your unique value begins. Next, let's turn the camera around and focus on your clients. What is the elephant in the room for them? What's that uncomfortable truth that they're all feeling, but none of your competitors has the guts to actually say out loud? Being the one to finally name it, that creates this powerful, almost unbreakable bond of trust. And finally, this is the big one. The source material uses this great metaphor, the crazy Aunt Ethel in the attic. It's that truth that you know, your whole team knows it, but you keep it hidden because you're afraid of rocking the boat. Let me tell you, that thing you're afraid to say is almost always the very thing that will make you stand out. That is your gold mine.
So let's bring this all home. After you challenge the old ways and you find your real voice, what's the ultimate goal? I mean, what does winning with this playbook actually look like?
And that brings us right back to Jerry Garcia, who just nails the final crucial mindset shift. The goal here isn't to be better. That is a losing game. There's always going to be someone who's cheaper or has some new bell or whistle. No, the goal is to escape the competition entirely, to be so distinct that in the mind of your ideal customer, you are the only choice. So, this entire playbook, everything we've talked about, it really just boils down to one final critical question. I want you to look at your marketing, your sales process, your company culture, and ask yourself honestly, are you playing it safe? Are you trying to be vanilla for everyone? Or are you ready to take a stand, plant a flag, and become licorice for the right people? Because the answer to that question, it's going to define your entire future.